was 7:42 p.m. Mr. Billionaire Johnson was seated at his office desk, sipping black coffee and reading through business proposals. The sun had already gone down, and the only light in the office was from the ceiling lamp and his laptop screen. His phone buzzed. He looked down at the screen. It was a message from Cynthia, the woman he had been dating for the past year, the same woman he planned to propose to in 2 weeks, the woman he gave 200 million naira just a month ago to start her skincare company. He smiled as he unlocked his phone, expecting something sweet. Instead, his heart dropped. "I think we should go our separate ways. Please don't call me. I've thought about this a long time. It's for the best. Thank you for everything." His hands froze. He stared at the screen like it was a mistake. He dialed her number immediately. She picked after 2 rings. "Hello?" Her voice came through, calm. Too calm. "Cynthia, what's this message? What do you mean by, we should go our separate ways?" "I meant what I said, Dami. I'm sorry. I just don't think this is working anymore." "Wait, what?" He blinked, standing from his chair. "Cynthia, where is this coming from? I don't understand. Is it something I said? Did I do something wrong?" "You didn't do anything wrong," she said simply. I feel like we're not in the same place emotionally. You're too busy, always working, and I don't feel connected to you anymore." "But you didn't say any of this before," his voice cracked. "You said you loved me. I gave you money to start your dream business. Cynthia, 2 weeks ago, you were calling me my king." "I didn't lie about that," she said, "but maybe I just needed help to get on my feet." "So I was a stepping stone?" he asked quietly. Silence. "Wow." Billionaire sat back in his chair, pain flooding his chest. "If you needed more money," he continued, "you could have just told me. I would have given you more. You didn't have to do this, Cynthia." "I'm sorry, Dami. I need to find myself. Please don't hate me." She ended the call. He dropped his phone on the table. Slowly, like it was made of fire. Tears welled up in Billionaire's eyes. He looked around his office, beautiful, neat, filled with success. His heart, though, felt empty. He had worked hard to build this life. His father, Chief Benson Johnson, was a billionaire too. The man owned properties across Africa and was always flying from country to country, chasing investments. But unlike his father, Billionaire wanted more than wealth. He wanted love, real love. His mother had abandoned them when he was just 8 years old, after his father lost his job. She couldn't handle the poor lifestyle anymore then. She packed her bags and left. No note, no goodbye. His father never remarried. He simply raised Billionaire like a soldier. Discipline, strength, no room for tears. But tonight, Billionaire cried. He opened his drawer, pulled out a bottle of whiskey, and poured himself a full glass. "I was going to propose to her," he whispered to himself. He took a large gulp. "She said she loved me." It was almost 10 p.m. when Amaka knocked on his office door. "Sir?" she said softly. "You're still here?" No answer. She pushed the door open. What she saw broke her heart. Billionaire was on the couch, half asleep, his tie loose, his shirt buttons open, an empty glass in his hand and a bottle of whiskey on the table. She rushed in. "Sir," she knelt beside him. "Are you okay?" His eyes opened slowly, red and tired. "Amaka," he slurred. "She left me. After everything." "Who, sir?" "Cynthia," he mumbled. "She broke up with me over a text. Just like that." Amaka's heart dropped. She knew how much he loved Cynthia. "I gave her everything," he whispered. "Even money that she wanted for business. I give her." She held his arm gently. "Sir, it's okay. Please come, let's go home." "I don't want to go home," he said, almost like a child. "You have, too," she said, helping him up. "Let's go home, sir. You need rest." Just then, the driver, Musa, walked in. "Oga, make we go house," It's getting late, sir." Together, Amaka and Musa helped him into the car. They got to his house. It was quiet, big, lonely. Musa dropped the keys on the table and quietly left them. Amaka helped Damilar to his room. He dropped on the bed, face first. She sat beside him. "She could have just told me she wanted more money," he cried again. "Why do people always lie to me, Amaka? What do they see? Only money?" Amaka was quiet. She stroked his back gently. "You have a kind heart, sir. That's what they miss." He turned to her, eyes full of sorrow. "Stay with me, please. Just tonight. Don't leave me alone." She hesitated, then nodded. "I'm not going anywhere." He reached for her hand and held it tightly. They both laid down, still in their work clothes. He wrapped his arm around her, resting his head on her shoulder like a broken child. They stayed that way, until sleep took them both. The soft light of morning pushed through the curtains and warmed the room. Damilar opened his eyes slowly, for a few seconds. Then he felt the weight of someone beside him. It was Amaka. Her glasses were sitting on her face awkwardly, one side hanging. Her hair was slightly rough. She was still in her office wear, sleeping deeply, mouth parted in a gentle snore. Damilar didn't move. He just stared at her. She looked peaceful, natural, like someone who didn't wear masks of pretends. A small smile appeared on his lips. He reached for the blanket and gently pulled it over her. Then he stood, stretched his arms, and tiptoed out of the room. Downstairs, Damilar entered the kitchen. He hadn't cooked in years, but today he wanted to do something different. He cracked eggs, sliced bread, and made tea with milk and honey. It wasn't perfect, but it was warm. He carried the tray upstairs, opened the window in the room to let in fresh air, and placed the tray gently on the side table. "Amaka," he called softly. She stirred, rubbed her eyes, then suddenly jolted up. "Jesus," she gasped, fixing her glasses and realizing where she was. "I'm so sorry, sir. I didn't mean to. Oh my God, you're in shorts." "Oh no." "Relax," he said with a laugh. "You didn't do anything wrong. You actually saved me." She tried to stand. "Let me leave. Sit. Eat first," he said calmly. She sat, but her hands shook a little as she picked the bread. "You cooked this?" she asked, surprised. He nodded. "I wanted to. For you. I wanted to say thank you." They ate quietly for a few minutes. Then he stood and walked to his closet. "After breakfast, you can shower and change into something comfortable. Pick anything you like." Amaka blinked. "Sir?" "Yes," he said. "Please." When Amaka came downstairs again, she wore one of his simple designer t-shirts and joggers. She looked fresh, glowing, and a little shy. Damilare handed her an envelope. "What's this?" she asked, frowning. "Open it." She opened it. Her hands trembled. 10 million naira cheque? "Sir, no. I can't." "You can," he said gently, "and you will." "But why?" He looked at her quietly for a while. "I overheard your phone call with your mother. I know she's been sick. I know you've been trying to handle it quietly." Amaka covered her mouth. "Sir, the sickness, it's not that serious." "I know, but still, buy her what she needs. And buy yourself something nice, and take 1 week off. Go and be with her." Tears ran down Amaka's cheeks. She sat down. "But what did I do to deserve this?" Damilar smiled, walked toward the window, and rested his hand on the frame. "My mother left when I was 8. She couldn't stay with a man who had no more money. Once things became so bad for my father, she left. My father raised me. Alone. He worked morning till night to make sure I didn't feel her absence." He turned back to her and said, "You remind me of him, my father." Amaka looked confused. "You don't ask. You give. You care. You see through me, even when I try to hide." He continued, his voice softer. "You've been more than a secretary to me. You've been more than a friend. You've been something I can't even explain." She stood up slowly. Her heart was beating fast. She wanted to run to him, to hold him, to tell him how much she cared, but instead, she said, "Thank you, sir." Amaka returned to her apartment and sat on her bed. She pulled out her phone and called her mom. "Mama, my daughter, how are you?" "I'm happy," she said. You're smiling through the phone. What happened?" Amaka laughed shyly. "Nothing, Mama." "Is it a man?" Amaka silenced for a few seconds. "Amaka?" "Yes, Mama." "Tell me." "He's my boss." "Oh? But he doesn't know how I feel about him." The mother was quiet for a moment. "Then you must pray," she said finally, "and if it is God's will, he will see you too." "I hope so, Mama." The next morning, Amaka came to the office to meet an empty chair. "Where's Mr. Damey?" she asked the receptionist. "He left," the girl replied. Amaka frowned. So early. At that same moment, Damilar sat in a noisy restaurant in Ikeja with one of his old school friends, Charles. "I'm tired, Charles. No woman wants me for me. All they care about is money. And my greatest fear in life is getting a wife that likes money too much, just like my mother." Charles sipped his drink. "Then try what my cousin did." "What's that?" "He went to a rural village and disguised himself as a mechanic. He met a girl who didn't care about money. They're married now with children." Damilare raised an eyebrow. "You're serious?" "Dead serious. Try it." Amaka walked into the office at exactly 8:03 a.m., as usual. She had a bright smile on her face. She was humming a soft tune and clutching her cup of tea when she noticed something strange. Mr. Damilare's office door was still locked. She looked at the receptionist. "Has Mr. Dammy arrived?" The girl shook her head. "No, Ma. He hasn't come in." Amaka's smile slowly faded. That wasn't like him. Even when he had a hangover or a late night, he was always in by 7:30. She walked into her office and sat down quietly. After 20 minutes, she picked up her phone and called him. He answered after 3 rings. "Hello, Amaka?" "Good morning, sir," she said gently. "I just wanted to check. You didn't come in this morning. Are you okay?" There was a soft chuckle on the other end. "I'm fine, Amaka. I was actually just about to call you." "Okay. What's going on, sir?" "I'm traveling." Her brows furrowed. "Oh? Where to?" "Out of the country. I'm going to visit my father. He's been asking me to come. I think I need a break." "Oh, okay." Her voice was calm, but her heart was not. "I'll be away for a month or 2, he continued. "I trust you'll handle the office after your break while I'm gone." "Yes, sir, I will. And please take care of yourself, too." "I will, sir." There was silence between them. Then Damilar added softly, "Thank you for everything, Amaka." She swallowed hard. "You're welcome, sir." They ended the call. Amaka stared at the phone for a long time. Amaka remembered the first time her feelings began to change. It was 6 months ago. Damilare had organized a visit to an orphanage home. He bought bags of rice, cartons of noodles, clothes, toys, and even new shoes for the children. When they got there, Amaka stood at a distance, watching. He was smiling, kneeling to hug a little boy, wiping the face of a crying girl, playing football barefoot with some teenagers. There was no camera crew, no newspaper coverage. Just him. His heart. That day, Amaka had placed a hand on her chest. "He's so kind," she had whispered. From that moment, her heart began to change, but she waved it off. "He has Cynthia," she reminded herself. "And even if he didn't, I'm just his secretary." Still, something grew in her. Something warm. In reality, Damilar was not traveling to visit his father. Not yet. After his friend Charles gave him the idea to visit a rural area in disguise, Damilare had made up his mind. He wanted to go somewhere no one would know him. No cars, no fancy suits, just himself. He picked up the phone and called Charles. "Bro, you remember the village you mentioned? What's the name again?" "Ogudu Ife," Charles replied. "It's deep in the east. My aunt lives there." "Perfect, I'll go there." What Damilare didn't know was that Ogudu Ife was Amaka's village. 2 days later, Damilare arrived at Ogudu Ife. He wore torn jeans, old rubber slippers, and a faded polo shirt. His beard was rough. He carried a small bag with only a toothbrush, T-shirt. He told the villagers he was just a laborer from Ibadan who came to find work and peace. They believed him. He started working with a local farmer named Papa Kenechukwu, helping him clear bushes and fetch water from the stream. The sun was hot. The work was hard. His body ached by evening, but his heart was lighter than it had been in years. One evening, after working at the cassava farm, he stopped to buy roasted corn by the roadside. As he waited for his change, a tall, light-skinned village girl with loud earrings and long lashes walked past him. She stopped, looked him up and down, and scoffed. "You? Who is this one again?" Damilare looked up, confused. "Sorry?" he asked gently. She rolled her eyes. "Your mates are in the city driving cars. You're here looking like a beggar." Then she hissed and walked off. He stood frozen. That was his first direct insult in the village. He didn't know whether to laugh or be offended. Later that night, while lying on the small bamboo mat in Papa Keeney's room, he called Charles. "Bro, that village you recommended, someone just called me a smelling man." Charles laughed hard on the phone. "Welcome to real life, billionaire." They both laughed for a while, but after the call ended, Damilare held his phone and stared at the screen. He almost dialed Amaka. He missed her voice. He missed her smile. But he shook his head. "If I call her, she'll try to stop me," he said to himself. "She'll talk me out of this." He switched off his phone and closed his eyes. The rain had just stopped. Small puddles danced under the afternoon light, and birds returned to the sky, chirping joyfully. Women came out of their homes to shake off wet clothes, while children kicked through the muddy paths barefoot. Damilare stepped out into the clean village air. He had rested well that afternoon and wanted to take a quiet walk around. He wore a plain white shirt and simple trousers. Nothing expensive. He blended in like any regular village man. As he strolled toward the stream path, his eyes caught someone walking ahead. She was different. She wore a bright yellow Ankara gown with blue flower patterns. It hugged her figure gently and flowed as she moved. Her braids bounced on her back, and she carried a small woven basket in one hand. Her steps were light, graceful. Her smile, even from the side, felt warm and full of life. Damilare's heart beat faster. Wow, who is she? He quickened his steps a little. "Hello, fine girl," he called out, smiling confidently. "Did the rain fall just to prepare the earth for your beauty?" The girl paused. She turned and looked at him. Their eyes met. For a moment, she didn't speak, just smiled. He laughed gently. "Ah, you're already smiling. I didn't even introduce myself yet. My name is David." She nodded politely. "You are?" He raised a brow, waiting. Still smiling, she looked away playfully and said, "I'm going somewhere." "Let me walk with you then," he said. She chuckled. "You're very calm," he continued. "You have this peace around you. It's rare." She blushed and held her basket tighter. Her smile never left her face. "Are you from this village?" he asked. She nodded. "Born and raised." "Are you engaged?" "Married." She hesitated. Just then, unknown to Damilare, a tall young man wearing a red T-shirt and carrying a stick stood behind the nearby plantain tree, watching. He narrowed his eyes, breathing quietly. The man behind the tree was Obinna, one of the village boys. He was tall, rough around the edges, and known to spread gossip faster than fire. He watched closely as the strange new guy spoke to Amarachi, the most beautiful girl in the village. So this boy thinks he can just come here and talk to anyone? He thought angrily. When Damilare and the girl finally parted ways, Obinna ran. He ran through the back of the market, across the bamboo fence, and found his friend, the girl's fiancé, sitting under a wooden shade close to the village square, peeling oranges with a blade. Obinna stopped to catch his breath. "Chijioke, my guy, I just saw something." "What again?" Chijioke asked lazily. "That new guy. That one that says he's a laborer. I saw him talking to Amarachi." Chijioke paused. "Which Amarachi?" "Your Amarachi, the one you're engaged to." Chijioke dropped the orange. Obinna continued. "And bro, I won't lie. The way he was talking to her, and he was smiling. She too was smiling, like she was enjoying it." Chijioke's face changed. "This guy. If we don't act fast, he will sleep with all the fine girls in this village," Obinna added. "He's even fine Seth. Some of these women like soft faces." Chijioke stood up, angry now. "We'll show him. He thinks this is Ibadan?" The two of them burst into loud laughter as they began plotting. That night in the city, Amaka sat in her room with a cup of tea and her phone to her ear. "Mama," she said sweetly. "My daughter," her mother replied happily. "You called again. I was about to call you." Amaka laughed. "Mama, I just wanted to hear your voice. I have good news." Her mother sat up straighter. "Good news? Tell me." "My boss. He gave me big money." "Mama, are you there?" "You say what?" her mother asked softly, as if the money frightened her. "Yes, Mama. Big money. Plenty money, Mama. I just got the Allard from the bank," Amaka said again. Her mother gasped. "Blood of Jesus! Amaka, what for?" "He said it's for your health, Mama, and for me to rest. He said I should take 1 week off work and come to the village to care for you." Tears rolled down the old woman's cheeks. "Mama," Amaka said warmly, "you've suffered for me. You've done everything. It's time for you to rest." Her mother began crying softly. "I sent you 300,000 naira already," Amaka added. "Go to the hospital tomorrow and pay off the balance we owe, and return Uncle Tobe's borrowed money, too." "Amaka, my hand is shaking," Mama said, wiping her eyes. "You are truly my blessing. God will bless that man. Your Oga will never lack." Amaka smiled. "And Mama?" "Yes?" "I'll be coming to the village in 3 days. I'll bring plenty foodstuffs, too." They ended the call with joy and laughter. The next day, Mama Amaka did exactly what her daughter said. She took the 300,000 naira in a small black purse and headed to the hospital to pay the debt. On her way, she stopped by the road to buy a sachet of water. That was when she heard the noise. People shouting, men yelling. She rushed forward and saw a small crowd forming near the village square. There, on the ground, was a young man being beaten badly. His shirt was torn, blood on his forehead. Someone was tying a tire around his neck. "Thief! Thief!" the crowd shouted. One boy ran forward with a bottle of liquid. Another struck a match. Just as the flames touched the tire, Mama Amaka screamed, "Stop! Please stop! You'll kill him." She grabbed a small bowl by the side of the road, filled it with leftover rainwater from the ground, and poured it on the fire. "Please, he's someone's child," she begged. "Don't do this." A few policemen arrived just in time and they helped quench the fire. One of the boys was arrested. The others scattered into the bush. Mama Amaka, without even knowing the man's name, begged the police to let her care for him. He was rushed to the nearest local clinic. The doctors wrapped his face in bandages, leaving space only for his mouth, nose, and eyes. "This fire touched deep skin," the doctor said. "Do not remove the bandage until it heals." "He will stay with me," Mama Amaka said with tears in her eyes, "until he can talk again." 3 days later, a small village bus dropped Amaka at the junction. She stepped down, holding her luggage in one hand and a bag of plenty foodstuff in the other, and bag of rice and some other foodstuff. "Mama!" she called. Her mother rushed to hug her, and neighbor helped them put them inside. "My daughter, welcome. I missed you, Mama. I've cooked bitter leaf soup, your favorite." They hugged for a long time. Then her mother whispered, "There's something I must tell you." The small house smelled of herbs and warm pap. The man lay on a mat beside the window, his body still weak, bandages wrapped across most of his face. His arms were bruised and one leg was splinted from the beating. His eyes, however, were open, calm but watchful. Amaka stepped inside, gently carrying a bowl of water and a clean towel. "Good morning," she said softly, kneeling by the mat. "Please, let me clean your wound." He looked up at her slowly. The moment their eyes met, his breath caught in his chest. Amaka. He wanted to speak, but he couldn't. The pain in his lips still stung, and the doctors had warned against talking too soon. But it was her. The curves of her cheeks, the soft tone of her voice. It was her, his Amaka. He blinked in disbelief, and when Mama Amaka entered with hot yam porridge and gently helped him sit, he was even more shaken. "So, this is her mother? The same woman who saved my life?" He blinked again, tears silently welling in his eyes. They had no idea who he truly was. Over the next 3 days, Amaka and her mother took turns feeding, cleaning, and caring for the injured man. Each morning, Amaka would help him sit up and give him warm tea with honey. She would read psalms out loud beside him when he couldn't sleep at night. She even changed his bandages gently, whispering, "Sorry, sorry," every time he flinched. He couldn't speak yet, but his eyes spoke volumes. And one night, while laying quietly on a chair and watching them tidy the room, his heart broke open. "I searched far and wide for love. Yet an angel was beside me the whole time. She gave me strength when I was weak. And now, she's saving me again, and she doesn't even know who I am." Tears rolled down his eyes quietly. He turned his face to the wall and sobbed into the pillow, whispering in his heart, "Thank you, God. I don't deserve her." Later that night, he pretended to be asleep. He lay still, facing the wall, while Mama Amaka and her daughter sat on a mat, sipping warm water and talking softly. They didn't know he was awake, listening. "Mama," Amaka said quietly, "this man, he reminds me of my boss." Her mother chuckled. "You and this your Oga. You mention him every 2 days." Amaka smiled, looking down shyly. "I miss him." "You love him, don't you?" Amaka sighed. "I do." The man's heart skipped. "But were you able to tell him how you feel before he traveled?" Mama asked gently. Amaka shook her head. "How can I, Mama? After he gave me 10 million naira? If I had told him then, he would have thought I only loved him because of the money." "You should have still told him," Mama whispered. "I wanted to return the check, Mama. That very day." "Then why didn't you?" Tears welled up in Amaka's eyes. "Because of you. Because of the hospital bills. The debts. We needed the money. I had to choose between my feelings and saving you." She wiped her eyes. "But I swear, Mama, I didn't love him because of the money. I loved him even before Cynthia left him. I loved him starting from the day he visited that orphanage and knelt to feed children who had no parents." Mama Amaka held her hand. "So, what will you do now?" Amaka shook her head. "Nothing. He's gone." The man on the mat squeezed his eyes shut, his chest tightening. "She loved me all this time?" That night, Damalar stared at the ceiling, replaying Amaka's words over and over again. "I wanted to return the check. I loved him before Cynthia left. I miss him." He had thought the village journey would bring him a new woman. Instead, it brought him back to the woman he had taken for granted, and she, without knowing, had saved his life. A single tear slid down his temple and into the mat. When I'm healed, he whispered in his heart, I will never let her go. The sun was bright that morning. Birds were chirping loudly, and the village smelled of morning smoke and fresh bread. Amaka had packed her small bag and was dressed in a peach-colored gown. She looked radiant, but her heart was heavy. She stepped out of the house and walked quietly to where the man lay on the wooden bench in the veranda. His face was still wrapped in bandages, but his eyes were clear. He sat up slowly when he saw her. "Mama," Amaka called gently. "I just came to say goodbye." "You're leaving today?" Mama asked. Amaka nodded. "My 1 week is over. I have to resume work tomorrow." Mama hugged her tightly. "I'll miss you, my daughter. You've done so much for this house." Then Amaka turned to the man, kneeling beside him as she always did. She smiled gently. "I know you can't talk yet, but I just want to tell you something." He looked at her closely, heart beating fast. "I've paid all your hospital bills," she said softly. "Also, your medicines, everything you need to finish healing, have already been bought. And when you're fully okay and ready to return to your family, I've given Mama some money for you." He blinked. "You don't have to worry about anything," she continued. "Just focus on getting well. You've been through a lot." He opened his mouth slightly, wanting to say something. Anything. Stop her. Hug her. Tell her it's him. But instead, he just nodded, holding back everything. "Take care of yourself," she said, standing up and waving. "Mama, take care of him," she added. "I will, my daughter." Amaka took one last look at him, smiled softly, and walked away. The moment she left, he closed his eyes, his fists tight beside him. Why didn't I stop her? Why couldn't I just say something? After Amaka returned to Lagos, Damilare stayed behind. He needed time to process everything. Every day, Mama Amaka treated him like her own son. She made him yam porridge, gave him warm water baths, cleaned his bandages, and sang soft hymns while wiping his forehead at night. When he could finally walk without help, he began helping her sweep the compound, fetch water from the stream, and even cut firewood. "Mama," he said one afternoon, "you're stronger than 10 men." Mama laughed. "Don't try to flatter me." The laughter between them was real. For the first time in years, Damilare felt a motherly love. After 2 weeks, the doctor came to remove the final bandage from his face. As the cloth peeled off, Mama held his hand. "You're okay now," the doctor said. Damilare looked into the mirror. There were small scars, but he was alive, whole, breathing. He smiled for the first time in a long time. That evening, Mama's phone rang. "Hello, Mama." Amaka's voice came through the speaker, excited and full of energy. "Mama, how is he? Did they remove the bandage?" "Yes, today." "Ah," she screamed in joy. "Thank God." The man sat nearby, hearing her voice. His eyes softened. She never stopped calling. Almost every night since she left, she had called. To ask about his wounds, to send prayers, to ask if he was eating well. She never asked for thanks. She just cared. He closed his eyes and let her voice comfort him. A week later, he stood in front of Mama Amaka with a small travel bag. "Mama," he said, "I have to go. I need to see my family, but I'll be back." Mama hugged him tightly. As he turned to leave, she called him back. "Wait, one last thing." She handed him a small brown envelope. He opened it. Inside was 350,000 naira. He stared at her, confused. "Mama, what is this?" She smiled. "It's from Amaka. She said, when you're healed and ready to go, I should give this to you. She said it's for you to start a small business or take care of your family." His hands shook slightly. She also said, "Please don't feel ashamed. It's from my heart." Tears filled his eyes. How could one woman be this good? He wanted to collapse on the ground and weep. Instead, he hugged Mama Amaka tightly. "Tell her, thank you, and that she's an angel sent from above." Mama smiled, brushing away a tear. I will, my son. Go well. Damelaire arrived back in Lagos late in the evening. He stood outside his massive mansion, looking at it as if it were a stranger's house. The gates were still tall. The flowers were neatly trimmed. The security guards saluted him with joy in their eyes. But his heart wasn't with the mansion. It was with Amaka. He walked into his home, dropped his bag, and sat on the couch. The memories came rushing back. Her voice, her laugh, her words to her mother that night. He didn't waste time. He picked up his phone and dialed Charles. Charles, I need the best ring in Lagos. Tonight. The next morning, Amaka walked into the office as usual. She wore a navy blue dress and carried her usual brown handbag. As always, she was early. But something was different. The lights were on in the conference room. As she stepped into the conference room to check, she froze. There were rose petals all over the floor. White candles flickered gently. Soft violin music played from hidden speakers. Jesus, she whispered, blinking in confusion. Then from behind her, he stepped out, Damelaire, wearing a black tuxedo. Alive, healthy, strong. She gasped. Sir. He smiled and walked slowly toward her. Amaka. She stared at him, shocked, and then noticed something. Faint scars on the left side of his face. She stepped closer, concern in her eyes. What happened to your face, sir? He smiled softly, taking her hands. That's what I've been meaning to tell you. She waited. I'm the man you and Mama saved. In the village. Amaka's eyes widened, her mouth falling open. What? He nodded. That day she poured water on my face. She saved my life, and you took care of me even when you had no idea it was me. Her legs wobbled and she stood in shock, mouth open. He moved closer to her. I disguised myself and went to your village looking for real love. I was tired of fake women, tired of gold diggers. I just wanted someone who could love me for me. He looked down at his hands, and then I got attacked, burned, left to die. Amaka's eyes welled with tears. You almost died. But you and your mother, he continued, you took care of me, fed me, paid my hospital bills, gave me peace, and still I stayed silent. I watched you show love when you thought I was nobody. He reached into his pocket and brought out a small black box. And then I realized. I had been searching far away, when my heart was standing beside me the whole time. He got down on one knee. Amaka, I love you. Will you please do me the honor and marry me? She couldn't speak. Tears ran freely down her cheeks. She nodded, covering her mouth. Yes. Yes, sir. I will. The office filled with applause as the hidden staff members came out cheering and clapping joyfully. 1 week later, Amaka and Damelaire returned to the village. Mama Amaka was sitting outside shelling groundnuts when she saw her daughter running toward her. Mama! My daughter! You're back so early. I came with someone, Mama. Damelaire stepped out of the black SUV, smiling in his clean white native attire. Mama dropped the tray and rushed to hug him. But how did you two meet? Amaka replied with smile. Mama, my boss is the man you saved. You're the same man. He nodded. Yes, Mama. And now, I'm your son. They laughed and hugged tightly. Then he said, Mama, come with me. They walked down the road to the edge of the village where a giant white mansion stood tall. Mama froze. What is this? This is your house, Mama, he said, handing her a golden key. You saved my life. You gave me shelter, food, care, when I had nothing. This is just a small thank you. Mama wept as she stepped into the tiled living room, her slippers sliding softly on the floor. And one more thing, he added, smiling. 2 weeks later, Mama Amaka flew abroad for medical checkup and full treatment, smiling by the plane window, holding her daughter's hand.